What's going on, everybody? Daily Draft Dude back again for another fantasy football mock draft. Today we are doing a 12 team half PPR draft from the 7th spot. Personally, my least favorite spot to draft. I hate getting the 7th spot. It just feels so bad. You're getting sniped left and right. It doesn't feel good. But being in the middle does have its advantages. So let's talk about that. But before we get into it, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, leave it a like, and really, most importantly, leave a comment. I really want to know sort of, do you agree with my takes? Do you not agree with my takes? Do you like the videos? Are they too long? Are they becoming repetitive? Let me know what you want to see. I'm happy to adjust. And as we get into the dog days of July and August and early September, I really want to switch up the format. I want to do Dynasty Startup, mocks. I'm going to do full PPR, and maybe we'll even adjust the team size. I've played in 10 team leagues, I've played in 14 leagues, and we can kind of learn together. Maybe I'll even do 2 QB or Superflex, and we can kind of just adjust for all the different types of mock drafts that people do out there. But with that being said, let's turn off notifications and let's get right into it. So, starts off pretty easy. Bijan, Puka, Gibbs, Cook is crazy. Christian McCaffrey, Jamar Chase. Okay, so this is how you know that it is a computer generated draft, right? They're auto picking because James Cook and Christian McCaffrey, in my opinion, should not be going over Jackson Smith and Najigba, and especially not Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase should be going right here at absolute worst. You could you could say, baby, the 101, I wouldn't fault you. 102, 103, Jamar Chase should not be falling to 106. I'm sorry. Don't do that. He's a locked in wide receiver one with the opportunity to be wide receiver one at any given year. He is absolutely phenomenal. And even with Joe Flacco last year, he he crushed it. So if you're lucky enough that your league doesn't appreciate Jamar Chase and you get him at 106, congratulations to you. That's an amazing pick. For us, we're just gonna sort of stick with what we know, and we're you know what? I went Jonathan Taylor a couple weeks ago, or a couple videos ago rather, and today we're gonna go Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now the thing I want to say about JSN, and I've been trying to sell him in my dynasty leagues all off season, in the ones that I have him. The number one thing about JSN that I'm nervous about. Well, there's two things. Number one, they lost Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak, OC of the Seahawks last year, was phenomenal. He has moved on to being the head coach of the Raiders. So you lose your OC. Totally understand. And I sort of also expect some regression from Darnold. I don't really know too much about their OC. Let me just look it up quickly. OC Seahawks is Brian Fleury. I don't know too much about Fleury. It seems that he was a run game coordinator and a tight ends coach for the Niners, so he is part of that Shanahan tree. I believe that Clint Kubiak was part of the Shanahan McVay tree, which is really just dominating coaching positions all over football right now. I am a little nervous about JSN in half PPR. He doesn't feel that safe. He feels like one of those wide receivers that could be the most volatile because, listen, Sam Darnold, props to him. I'm super happy that he won a Super Bowl. He's not an amazing quarterback. He is a good quarterback. He has had great weapons these past few years. I'm just not sold on him as an elite fantasy option, and I feel like you need a above average to elite quarterback to create these sort of elite wide receivers. Matt Stafford, Joe Burrow when healthy. But I guess you can make the argument, playing devil's advocate with myself, with Joe Flacco. But Jamar Chase could just be in a tier of his own. JSN. Look what happened with Geno. And I understand they had Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. the stars sort of aligned for JSN. In full PPR, I get it. In half PPR, I just want a little bit of flexibility. I want to just try to draft different players, see what my team looks like. I'm not super happy picking JSN. I think he's super talented, but if I could down tier in Dynasty to maybe even like a Drake London plus, I think I would. And I would definitely take Amon Ra over JSN. Jared Goff, Dak, even Kyler, I'm not really sold on. It's the sort of the same idea. JSN definitely over Justin Jefferson. Amon Ra definitely. CD Lamb probably, but I understand the argument for JSN. He is much younger. He signed a contract, and he had a killer year with Sam Darnold. So no doubts there. This is great. So we're gonna follow up with someone a little bit different. We're gonna choose Saquon. Now, if you follow football, which I assume you do if you're watching these videos, Saquon didn't have the best year last year. I feel like the Eagles as a whole, they sort of do this ebb and flow situation where they're excellent one year and then they peter off the following year and then they're excellent the following year and then they peter off. I mean, it was like 2022. They they went to the Super Bowl. They had a great year, right? Then 2023, they had a I think they started 10 and 0 or 10 and 1 and then they lost like 6 or 7 of their last 6 or 5 or 6 of the last few games and they got bounced by the Bucks in the first round badly and then they come back 2024, they kill it, they go to the Super Bowl and they decimate the Chiefs. I mean, absolutely destroy. So, or maybe it was 23, 24, and then 25, and this year, past year was 26. Anyway, I think Saquon, yeah, he's getting older. Sure, he's 29, but I think he could be a great fantasy option. There's no more AJ Brown. They have two rookies that they drafted pretty highly. Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts. I don't know if they believe in him as a passer. I think they want to get as much out of Saquon as possible before he retires. So I don't really blame them. I think Saquon last season was going, I think, here, and now he's fallen quite a bit. Yeah, this is a great spot for Saquon. Mid second, he's older. I think we're seeing this trend of running backs going past that age 28 season when they're allegedly, falling out of their prime. They're getting older. There's been so much tread. They historically, their success rate is not as proven, or it peters off after a certain age. We can get into that in the next video. Here, a lot of good options. Maybe we just do the old teammate. Maybe we just do AJ Brown. Trade to the New England Patriots. I think AJ Brown, he's been an excellent fantasy asset. I think in the third round is an absolute smash for somebody that could be like Stephon Diggs. What Stephon Diggs was to Josh Allen with AJ Brown. I mean, sure. How old is he? He's 28. I think he has at least 3 years in him to be a productive, excellent wide receiver one. I think players are just showing that they can play at a higher level the as they get older. So we have JSN, Saquon, AJ Brown. You know, the thing is, I'm just not really into Jalen Waddle. I don't know. I'm just not sold on. I'm not sold. I don't know on this offense. Maybe that's just me being pessimistic and not really fully understanding what I'm talking about. Um, from an analytical side, from a success side of things. He was great his rookie year in Miami, and then Tyreek came, and I feel like he was pushed to be that wide receiver too, and he's dealt with a ton of injuries, soft tissue things throughout the years. It seemed like this year actually was pretty good for him, but he always ends up being one of those people that leaves, goes into the blue medical tent, comes back, doesn't know. if he, you don't know as a viewer if he's going to be okay. I just feel like he's not someone that I want to anchor my team with. Yeah, AJ Brown's had injuries. Yeah, Saquon didn't have a great year last year, but I believe in these guys. I don't know if I believe in Jalen Waddle, and that feels kind of bad. But the one person I do believe in is Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland, drafted 10th overall in last year's draft, 2025, by Ben Johnson, first pick in the Ben Johnson era, and he absolutely showed up down the stretch. I mean, he crushed it, especially against, that Cincinnati game was a huge turning point. I think he was dealing with some injuries to start. Then they had an early bye week. And then down the stretch, he was getting exactly what you want. And look at this 10, 13 targets. Can we look at playoffs? I think in the playoffs, he was getting some solid targets too. He's someone that I believe in. He's someone in the fourth round that I think could ascend to be the to fight for McBride or Bowers for the tight end one overall. He definitely has the best situation. He has the best quarterback situation. But he also, I think, has the most crowded room there, right? He has to deal with Rome and Luther Burden, who are great prospects in their own right. Trey McBride just has to sort of fend off Marvin Harrison and Michael Wilson in that regard. But there's a lot of questions in the quarterback position. Jacoby Brissett is currently holding out. What's that situation going to look like for him? I don't know. He's a possibility. He may be shipped out if they're looking to fully rebuild. I mean, he's not that old. I think he's 26. Yeah, he's 26. So he could be traded. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. If Brock Bowers, a wide open room, right? It's really just him. They drafted Michael Mayer the year before they got Bowers, so in 2023, I think they could play a lot of 12 or 13 personnel and spread out Bowers and Michael Mayer. I have Jack Besh in Dynasty. I like Jack Besh, but I don't think he's going to compete to be the alpha over Bowers. And they have Ashton Genty. But we have no idea how Kirk Cousins is going to look. We have no idea how Fernando Mendoza is going to look, and we need to see the improvement from the offensive line. And I want to see Clint Kubiak installed as the play caller. Can he manage being? I'm assuming he's the play caller and the head coach. So lot of question marks there. I think here we are going to take Devonta Smith though. Devonta Smith, again, as I've talked about in the past, I've drafted him. His ADP is going to skyrocket. He is going to go into third because he's presumably the wide receiver one in Philadelphia. Rightfully so. Rightfully so is right. So here we have a lot of good options. I like Jordan Tyson. Ramondre could be, I think, okay. Ramondre, I like more than Travion. Personally, I think they're going to run Ramondre into the ground. I think they actually do like him. And it shows, especially in the playoffs. In the most important games, Travion was sort of an afterthought, and Ramondre came to the forefront. So I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot of Ramondre. I don't love double dipping in the same team so early, but I mean, I guess I did that again with Devonta Smith. So I guess it's an Eagles and Pats team because it sort of just lowers your overall fantasy ceiling. But that's okay. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna triple dip on the same team. We're gonna go Kyle Manungai here. Kyle Manungai is someone that I'm super high on going into next year. I think in the seventh round he can be really great. There, DeAndre Swift is definitely going to play a part in this offense. There's no doubt about that. But Kyle Manungai, you're really hoping for him to be sort of the Tyler Algier role, the the plotter, right? Picking up those 2, 3 yards, getting a first down. If he can prove that he can get 2, 3, 4 yards first down, that keeps you on the field. That is excellent. So yeah, really like Kyle Manungai, and this team is coming together. I think today we're gonna punt QB a little bit. I do like Caleb, but I don't want to triple dip. Triple dipping is very, very bad. I would highly suggest not doing that. Um, Let's see what the running back values here are just not very good. Do not pick Brian Robinson. He is a handcuff exclusively. I don't think he's as good as Tyler Algier. I would not pick him until the later rounds if I were to pick him at all. I think here we're gonna go. Let's go Chris Godwin. He's a little bit older, but I do think he is going to be the wide receiver one in Tampa Bay. He's going to have to beat out Emeka Egbuka and Jalen McMillan, but I think him and Baker have really great rapport, and I think this is a smash. Parker Washington. Parker Washington, as I've said in previous videos, there is going to be a serious battle in Jacksonville, and I really don't know who's going to come out on top. I think Jacoby Myers is going to be the safest play. I don't think he has the highest ceiling, but I think he has the safest floor. And in full PPR leagues, even though we're in half, I would target Jacoby Myers over Parker and over Brian Thomas Jr. Now, Parker Washington, what an incredible player, an incredible story. I believe he was a later round pick, a day three pick, and he came in. I think Brian Thomas was dealing with some injuries last year and some mental hurdles that he had to overcome due to the loss of his teammate and friend. And what was an incredible rookie season for BTJ just turned into a perfect disaster. But it opened up some opportunities for Parker Washington, and I believe that Trevor Lawrence absolutely loves him, and I think he's going to become a focal point of this offense. Um, so it's funny. It's funny. That's what people consider the twos and the threes of the offense. In offenses, like Brian Thomas was supposedly the one in Jacksonville. Marv was supposedly the one in Arizona. Rome was supposedly the one in Chicago. All of these highly touted draft picks in 2024 are sort of battling for that wide receiver one role over these role players that had moments throughout their seasons, but have now come to the forefront, and that could be for a variety of reasons. But Parker Washington at 9-7 is incredible value. He's going to be great this year. I think you know when you're drafting, you just want to take advantage of the values, right? You see Luther Burden going. Where's Luther Burden? 4 or 5, right? So you take Colston Loveland right after him, or you wait and you take Rome. Do I think that the difference between Luther Burden and where did Rome go? Rome, where are you? 3 rounds? Do I think it's going to be that big? I don't. I don't think it's 3 rounds difference. Just take Rome, especially in half PPR. You're just looking for that boom bust potential anyway. Anyway, here, really not a lot of running backs that I like, and I think we can wait on quarterback too. I think I'd be pretty happy with a lot of these quarterbacks. I think we'll just take another. We'll just take another wide receiver, and I think we're gonna go Wandale. I really do believe in Wandale. I think okay, so we have quite a few wide receivers now. Let's go and get some nice. Let's get some running backs. Um, Rashad White, I think it's just going to be an easy smash. I think he's going to be one of those guys that he's not sexy, right? He hasn't been efficient running the football, but he's an excellent pass catcher. And I really think that he's going to be a veteran leadership, and he's going to be what they wanted Austin Eckler to be. And he was, and then he got hurt. So, really believe in Rashad White, and I think in the 11th round, he's a great value. I think we're just going to continue doing it. I could see Alvin Kamara having sort of like a Kareem Hunt role, especially as he ages. Um, I think Travis Etienne is going to be that plotter that they want, that more explosive fantasy asset. But I think Alvin Kamara in the 12th round, great value. Um, not really worried about it. And I think a guy that I'm really interested in. Oh, Malik Willis. Gotta draft my QB. A guy that I'm really interested in is Chris Rodriguez. You know, Liam Cohen coached him at Kentucky. I think, they brought him in. Did they give him a lot of money? No, they didn't give him a lot of money. I think they gave him like 2 or 3 years for $10 million. But you know what? There's familiarity there with the coaching staff. I think Bayshal too, and I think everyone agrees is the more explosive athlete. He's the question mark. He's the shiny new toy. But I think Chris Rodriguez can come in. He could be that plotter. He can be that Travis Etienne. He could be that goal line back. Who knows? It doesn't really matter because you're drafting him so late that you might as well take a shot on him. And then, ugh, maybe I punted QB a little too late. I was hoping to get Malik Willis, Tyler Shuck, Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Baker. These are all QBs I really, really like. I'm not really sold on Matt Stafford or Bo Nix with the ankle injury, and Jordan Love. I'm just not really interested in fantasy wise. Rushing upside, plus Kellen Moore. Jared Goff has incredible tools around him. Baker Mayfield, I think, takes a step up once again, and Kyler Murray, again, more rushing upside. But let's pick someone who I think is going to have a big year too, and that's Cam Ward. I'm all in on Cam Ward. I think he's going to have an incredible year too. I believe in Brian Daboll to help sort of reel him in, improve, help improve his mechanics, and I think Robert Saleh is an incredible defensive coach. And if I were picking DSTs, the Tennessee Titans is someone that I'm keeping a close eye on. And then finally, I think you just go, as I've been saying all year, Jonathan Brooks. These late rounds, like from 11 onward, you just want to take shots on guys that you think can ascend way past their ADP. Jonathan Brooks, we're picking him at like RB. I have no idea, 40 something. He's someone that could ascend into maybe the high end RB3s or low end RB2s. I don't think he'll be an RB1. I think the ACL has really taken a lot out of him, and he's really going to have to rehab. But he's someone that I think in the 15th round of drafts, just take a shot on. And I think as we get into summer and August and preseason, Jonathan Brooks is really going to start moving up boards. People are going to say, well, Chuba's washed. I want to see what Jonathan Brooks can do. So, but with that being said, I really enjoyed doing this mock draft. 7th spot is not ideal, but you make it work. I thought we had a pretty solid team. We started off with Jackson Smith-Njigba. Then we ended up going right into Saquon Barkley. Then we went into A.J. Brown, ex-teammates, and then we got Colston Loveland, who I think is going to have a big year, and I think can ascend to be the tight end one overall, and great value, right? Basically 2 round gap. Then we double dipped in Philadelphia with Devonta Smith. I think that's okay. Then we double dipped in New England with Ramondre, not a problem. And we just followed suit. We triple dipped in Chicago with Kyle Monangai, who I think is going to have a nice sizable role, especially as DeAndre Swift ages going into this year. Then we got Chris Godwin. Parker Washington, I think, is the absolute steal of the draft. Wandale I like in Tennessee, and we got that little stack going with Cam Ward, and then we just took some upside shots. Rashad White, Kamara, Chris Rodriguez, and then we finished the draft with my personal favorite pick, Jonathan Brooks. So, with that being said, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It would really mean a lot to me, and I will catch you guys tomorrow with another video. Peace.